echo chamber. What is the main point of this thing?
So the main idea of our project was to take the environment of the whole Earth and try to replicate it into these tiny two bottles. And I think we did a really good job because we got the carbon cycle, the nitrogen cycle, and the water cycle. The water cycle. We got that too.
Yeah.
I think we did a good job.
Yes, thank you.
Right.
How did you make it?
Okay, so what we used in our project. So this was our terrestrial layer. Here we put things like we put some grass, not grass. We had a plant, we had dirt, and we had a cricket. This was our aquatic layer. Here we had water. This plant that survives in water and a water source. These two combined by a tube helped us to kind of move the oxygen and the water in between them. We used evaporation and everything else from water cycle.
What are the abiotic and abiotic factors?
Amazing question. Well, the abiotic sources would be the non-living sources. So that would be, for example, the sun, that helps for the evaporation, or the water, that cycles throughout the whole biosphere, or the dirt. The dirt.
What about biotic?
Well, there are plenty of biotic features in our biosphere. For example, we have these plants, two different types of plants. One is able to survive in water, the other one needs soil. And also, we have a cricket in it.
Is there anything in there?
There actually is. There's a tiny snail named Gary.
How is the water cycle present?
This is our biosphere, and basically what we did is we have an aquatic layer, and what this does is it creates grounds for sending parts of the water cycle throughout our entire little construction. What the sun does, it helps the water to evaporate, so it goes through this tube in the process, so it goes up here in the process known as evaporation, goes all through here, starts to condense here in the process known as condensation, and it precipitates down into this.
Why is it important?
If there's no water cycle here, our entire biosphere would not work, because all the water would stay in this layer, and this layer would dry up and just completely die, and that would be terrible. That is why we do not want that, and that is why a water cycle has to be present in all biospheres.
How is the carbon cycle present?
So in this biosphere, the plants partake in taking in carbon dioxide and letting out oxygen, which then the cricket in here takes in oxygen and lets out carbon dioxide. And basically the same thing happens over here in the water area, where the snail outtakes carbon dioxide and the plants let oxygen out. But then also, there's some decomposition that goes on down here, which causes the carbon to seep into the soil.
How is the nitrogen cycle present?
It's funny you ask. So the nitrogen cycle is present in this biosphere because it's okay. It's present in the biosphere because we have two organisms that have excrement.
How intriguing.
Yes, it is. So the snail over here lets out excrement after like pees, and in that there's ammonia, which after some bacteria fixes the leafy stuff up. After the bacteria fixes the ammonia into nitrates or nitrites, the plant uptakes it, and then the snail can eat that and receive nitrogen. And then over here, that basically happens in the terrestrial layer too. And the cricket like poos, and then ammonia is produced by this pooing, and bacteria causes nitrites and nitrates to happen, which the plant uptakes and the cricket then eats. Oh, this one's nitrate, but with nitrate.
What?
This is a terrible set. Let's switch sets. Here's one.
This is science in the making. Everybody, this is science.
These graphs show that overall, we had a very great ecosystem. It also represents that it's possible to have a fully functional, self-sufficient ecosystem.
As you can see from the graph, our amount of excess nitrates stayed at a steady zero. This is good because it means that we didn't have too many nitrates to the point of hurting our biosphere and too little to also hurting our biosphere.
One set of qualitative observations were the observation of our terrestrial plants. We saw a growth from the white roots that were barely visible underground to many tall shoots with very healthy green. Hi, now we're going to talk about the difficulties we had while constructing this particular biosphere.
Which were many.
Yes, many. And we are stressing that because that happened. We were many problems.
Well,
So So first we originally had a tube going from the water layer to the soil, like directly, and act like a filter. But then the water kept on falling out, so we'd get rid of that, which led to this boring, very boring style of just one single tube right here. And that's basically it. We learned that the simplest, the easiest, the best thing to do is to be simple. So
Indeed.
yes.
Well, we learned that things aren't as simple as they seem.